My time with the Transformers franchise has been sparse. I saw a few of the live-action movies, finished a few of the modern shows, and have owned exactly one actual Transformer toy. Throughout my time with the franchise, I've often wondered what sparked the conflict between the Autobots and Decepticons. Did they have ideologies that they stood for, or was it a simple case of good guys versus bad guys? Transformers 1 is entirely concerned with this question. It asks a very distinct question: who deserves to wield power? This question sends shockwaves throughout the society of Cybertron, forever dividing it. Before we examine how power can define and divide, we first have to examine the world that sets up that initial question. Before the Autobots and Decepticons, the planet of Cybertron was united. It defended their home from an alien threat. While they seemingly won the war, disaster struck when the matrix of leadership disappeared. This artifact was critical for the perpetual flow of energon, a vital resource. With the matrix missing and the planet's leaders, the Primes, gone searching for it, society began to reshape itself. Soon emerged two classes of bots. There were bots with cogs, organs that allowed them to transform into vehicles. These bots lived lives of influence and prestige. There were also bots without the ability to transform, forced to fill the void of the missing matrix by mining for energon. The leads of the story, Orion, Pax, and D16, are defined by their dissatisfaction with their roles as miner bots. However, how they choose to manage this dissatisfaction differs in a few key ways. D16 views society as concrete, something that can't be dismantled or reshaped. The mining job operates on a system of authority levels. D16 figures that if he works hard enough, he can reach to a more comfortable position. He never truly believes in the idea of being anything other than a miner bot, due to the undeniable fact of him not having a cog. Orion sees things differently. While he doesn't have a clear vision of how to define himself, he does believe that him and the other miners are capable of more. In his mind, the idea of some bots being destined for the top and others for the bottom doesn't sit right with him. He makes the effort to push himself and those around him to look beyond their pre-described roles and to see their potential. In other words, D16 believes that society should define its citizens, and Orion believes that individuals have the right to define themselves. The beliefs of D16 and Orion are strengthened as they make their journey to the surface of their world to find the Matrix. On their journey, they soon find out that their leader, Sentinel Prime, betrayed the other Primes in an attempt to seize the Matrix for himself. He incurred a debt with the planet's enemies and forced bots into labor by robbing them of their cogs and forcing them to mine for energon. After hearing this revelation, Orion becomes entrenched in his belief that the system their society was built upon was broken. D16 reacts differently, becoming distraught at the life that was robbed from him. Interestingly, he gets upset at Orion for even leaving for the surface, wishing that he could go back to a time where his trust in the system wasn't misused and he had hope for a future. This distress transitions into a desire for revenge. In the mind of D16, the system would operate better with a different leader than Sentinel. What causes the divide of Cybertronian society is the concern of where corruption begins. D16 believes that corruption begins with people. He believes that if a different Prime were in charge, he'd have a chance at a better life. In his mind, the society that subjugates the cogless bots is due to an ineffective leader. With this logic guiding him, he executes Sentinel Prime and dubs himself Megatron. Orion inversely believes that corruption begins at the fundamental development of society. He realizes that a new leader driving the old engine of society will yield no changes, and that a new system that grants equal rights for all citizens is needed for progress. In his mind, Orion believes that power shouldn't belong to one sole person, even in the event of a hypothetical perfect leader. Rather, power should be distributed equally to the people. It's this reasoning that grants Orion the new identity of Optimus Prime. The core concern with the Autobots and Decepticons is where to distribute power. The Decepticons believe that only worthy leaders should wield power, regardless of the corruption created from the initial system. The Autobots believe that power should be wielded by the people, who, incentivized by this new responsibility, will reshape their society to serve and defend all sentient life. This desire to shape their world and forged their own identities is what divided the citizens of Cybertron, but it's also what defined them.